Would love to. That's obviously with the festival, and that's
because when I made the post the other night, there was a part of me that was like, come on.
Yeah, for sure. No, we really appreciate that, and I gotta get some more action going on some of the promo on that.
Are you able to extend the?
Yeah, I'm thinking about extending it to the end of October.
Oh, very good.
Giving Day. They've just announced Giving Day is on the 23rd of October, and that's through I think Creative Australia will match, or it's just a day. I've got to figure out what it is. It's just a day where all the arts organisations will essentially promote that you can donate to them, and so there's a lot of promotion that will happen around that time.
Oh yeah,
so I thought
that's good.
Tying in with a little bit of that would help. So looking at being able to extend to the end of October, give me a bit more time.
Wonderful. You might get a nice Halloween treat.
Yeah,
that'll be a hoot.
That'd be good.
That'd be great.
That'll be a hoot.
Well, I think we can just jump straight in. What do you reckon?
Yeah, sure.
You ready to jump there, Miss T?
Oh, the only thing that I would like to
let's confirm.
Clint Eastwood is 95.
I knew he was in his 90s.
He's close to 100.
Oh, poor Robert Redford. Talk about a giant.
Yeah.
I love Robert Redford's work. He's amazing, and so I'm very sad that he passed this week.
I really liked him in Out of Africa.
Yes,
with Meryl Streep. They didn't mention that a lot in the news, but I thought that was a great film.
No, I mean, just what he did with Paul Newman. Multiple films. Sting, and my favourite's always going to be Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
I remember Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid when they were starting to do CD-ROM on PC. It's one of the first clips that I saw on a computer. That was a movie.
Oh wow!
Yeah. The scene where they
that probably would have been like 8 frames a second.
Oh yeah, it was an AVI at 420. It was very crushed. But at the time, you're like, this is amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Because I remember as a kid when we first bought our PC, our Microsoft Windows, when we first bought it in, oh God, what year did we buy it in? 1996 or 1997. Mm-hmm. And
Pentium round then.
Yeah, and you got you got like a the whoever you bought the computer from, they gave you like a bundle of software. So you had Encarta, which was like Encarta was encyclopedia.
It was the Duck's Nuts. Yeah.
There was Dangerous Creatures, which was the the spin-off about animals that could kill you.
Yeah.
But the other one that I really liked, and it reminded me of your Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid comment, was there was one called Celluloid Heroes.
Okay.
And it was all about Australian cinema.
Oh, really?
And they would have they would have star bios, they would have clips.
Yeah.
And the clips, when you think about them now, back and it's like, oh wow, high quality. It's probably they were probably only 12 frames per second.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, you mentioned Encarta. I think that's where it was from. The clip that I saw was on Encarta.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like cinema history. I saw a Star Wars scene where Obi-Wan gets killed by Darth Vader.
Yep.
And the other one was them negotiating running off the cliff at the end of the film.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. So it was amazing. But even before that, it was like, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh, yeah. I had that. Yeah. And Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego?
Yeah. And, I started on an Apple II GS in probably 1987.
Wow.
And I had a 286 in probably 89-90, where I played Wolfenstein.
Oh, classic Wolfenstein.
And then it was a 486 pre-Pentium to play Doom. I'm actually wearing the Doom shirt right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Endless hours playing Doom. But that was the null modem setup. So I used to do dial-up in high school for Doom. So I'd set up battle rooms and design our own floor levels as well.
Yeah, we were doing that in high school as well for StarCraft, Warcraft. Yeah.
Those
were the days.
Yeah, and even had Police Quest out there and King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry. Oh man, what a rundown memory lane. I was certainly someone that was uber nerdy in that space because my favourite games from that era were all interactive movies.
Yeah, right.
You had Under a Killing Moon,
yes.
Heart of China, Dragon, The 11th Guest, The 11th Guest, The 7th Hour, Phantasmagoria, which was banned in Australia.
I remember, recall reading about Phantasmagoria.
Super violent game. Like, it's more violent than Total Recall. Like, it was insane. You saw insides of brains and, like, it was just full horror gore fest. Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, no, but we're definitely ready to jump by now. What do you reckon? Yeah, totally.
Go right ahead.
And welcome to the Pagey Train. Today I have in the studio with me, Ryan Cauchi, director, editor. Is there not much that you don't do? Or do?
I was going to say I don't body double, but I've done that before.
We're all slashers. We're all slashers.
Yeah. What's something that I don't do?
You write?
I do write.
You act?
After my last minute cameo in Grey Stains, I was told I should be doing more acting, more voice acting.
Yeah.
I'm always like, like my good man Mark Hamill. I love a good bit of voice acting.
I love voice acting. And we talked about this with Prue on the show the other night. Yeah. She totally showed me up too, by the way. She's very good. Her transatlantic accent,
that was crazy.
Yeah. I recommend acting as a director, because I found that there's a strong relationship between the director and an actor. You usually think about it one directional, like it's from the director to the actor, but it's a symbiotic relationship. And it's all about the performance. See, the editing, the cinematography. These have artistic nuances, but they're a technical thing. And the performance is very much to the thespian space that takes us all the way back to the fourth wall of years before.
Yeah, I mean, my approach to it has always been, one of my favourite quotes was from John Huston, the director of Maltese Falcon. He said, I relieve myself from the rigours of directing by casting the film correctly. Yeah. And I have always felt like I've had, and that's actually relieved me from the burden of communicating with an actor, overcomplicating things and directing with them, because I spend a lot of time, sometimes I write roles specifically for people because I know it's something that they can do, or I've seen them do something very similar.
Okay.
And so that's kind of like, then I know that's because, all sorts of things can happen on a set in terms of like you never have nearly enough time that you want.
Of course, yeah, you're always time poor.
You're always time poor. You always feel like it starts off kind of smooth and then it becomes a racing train.
Yeah,
and
it certainly does.
If there's that level of trust. Like, I don't want to build that trust on set. I want to know that trust is there going in. And that's actually one thing that I want to, as I am doing more and more directing, something I want to improve on is I've been told by quite a few people, take acting classes.
Yeah, I totally recommend it. Like going through the process.
Don't take workshops about directing actors. Take a workshop about acting.
Yeah, because then you feel the experience that they go through being directed, and then you get to experience the really great thing about it is you get to experience other directors and their style. So then you go, because as a director, you may emulate your heroes and cover your heroes, and then start to find your own voice as a director. But you're kind of isolated because you don't get to see other people direct. Like you may have when you were starting out in your career, but you end up in a space where you end up being the director. You don't see other people in the moment. As an actor, you get to do that contrast. You get to see how other people operate.
Yeah.
I find that very valuable as well. But mainly about the performance. But speaking of performance, Grey Stains has done an amazing run. Last time I talked to you, it was 6 weeks into its run.
No. We were 2 weeks into a 6-week run.
Okay, I gotcha.
And we wrapped the series still on TikTok at Grey Stain Series. Plug there. And
it was sponsored. It was funded by TikTok, yeah.
It was funded by TikTok and Screen Australia through the Every Voice initiative.
Yeah.
And we also got additional support from Screen New South Wales, from Mario Spasizzi.
Oh, yeah?
And the Maltese Cultural Association of New South Wales. So another shout out to them. Always, we couldn't, like, it wouldn't exist without them. What's just been so
Because it was such a major production. Like, it was a big production that you did on this.
it was in all honesty fucking bigger than it needed to be. You know,
Some honesty here, folks. Right on the Pagey
you know,
train. You've heard it here first.
You know, like, you know, go big or go home. And
Yeah.
I'm just, if it's one thing that it's actually taught me is that, you know, I am capable. And, you know, you like it's hard because I like opera, and back to the acting thing, you know, I love directing, you know, I love writing stories, you know, I love fantasy, dark fantasy, and I love horror. But when you're dealing with, you know, special effects and concepts that are a bit out there and monsters and that, it's really hard for your cast and crew to kind of, you know, like, you tell them what we're doing, you're like, what? Like, you know,
how are you going to do that?
How is that even, like, I remember, you know, filming Golem, and telling, you know, the guys, like, you know, you're reacting to this, you know, that's where the eye line of it, that white dot on the corner,
that's where the monster is.
That's the eye line. That's the eye line there. And, you know, it becomes, and I did the same thing on Greystains, becomes silent film acting where you're yelling stuff at them. And, you know, because as an editor, I know the little bits and pieces that I'm going to, that are valuable to me. And, you know, you feel like, you know, at the end of Greystains, I'd almost become like a freaking, like, a cartoon character, because I was so into what the main monster should be like, and I actually did become a monster because I was the Mibdul, the changeling, in the last couple of episodes. And
yeah, wow.
But like, you know, you became a bit of a cartoon. But, like, it is hard to get people on board for it because they, you know, a lot of it happens after. You know?
You don't get to see the action that's happening on screen because it's post-production.
Even if you've got the a level of practical effects and you've got someone in a creature suit and that, sometimes that creature or what's going on, they will have to be augmented by special, like, you know, CGI or other things like that. And so it's a lot of you know, it's I keep on thinking about what poor George went through when he made A New Hope. And people, like, thinking, you know, like, what the hell is this film? And, like, you know,
Well, with Star Wars, right, when they did rushes for the film...
it was a disaster.
Well, the industry was so used to seeing live-action rushes.
Yeah.
But the rushes that they were seeing were the effects bed, the background. You couldn't see the entirety of that moment in that shot because it hadn't been developed yet.
Yeah, like, he would actually cut to the TIE fighter sequences. He would cut to World War II dogfight footage because they hadn't actually gotten up to that.
Yeah, they were going to pull funding on him.
Yeah. And, you know, I had to, you know...
So they're like, what the fuck is this? This is not going to sell.
I was cleaning out my Vimeo account the other day and I found all the, like, the rough cuts that we were sending to Screen Australia and I was sending to other collaborators.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the white notes, like...
You're going to love this.
Insert, you know, insert smoke. Insert... you know, stock shot here, like
yet to be shot, yet to be edited,
yet to be edited.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, when it was a crazy thing to do for a crazy platform, and when I said about being capable, it was like everything I had learnt in my career of editing and putting out fires and putting on band-aids and for thinking outside of the box when the chips are down.
Yeah.
It's, it really...
Yeah, turning into a post-production MacGyver.
Yeah, and that's why I've got such a. That's why I love, that's why I love post production. That's why I love seeing what the new technology is out there. And that's why I love post production so much. I love talking to the composer and having sessions with the composer. I love doing sound design. Like I love helping the sound designer out.
Yeah,
and love. It's good because it's like by knowing the post production and how these tools operate, how everything operates, I'm kind of relieving them of my collaborators from a little bit of stress because they're used to clients who will be like going, you're like 6 versions in, and they're like going, oh, no, that's not exactly what I meant. More like this. And it comes to a point where it's like, okay, you're 88% there. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Give me the project, and I'll just do that little tweak there.
Yeah.
Move on to the next thing.
Yeah. So you had to have a triage sort of approach to it.
And that's how I've always, when it comes to post production, that's how I've always been.
Well, it's never done right. Like in post production, you can always tweak it. There's got to be a moment where you go, this has been completed.
Yeah, but like
to a standard that I'm happy with.
But like just coming from that post-production background, I know all about like, testing someone's patience and all of that. And, I'm like, well, that saying where people say when you have an argument with someone, well, if you're so smart, why don't you do it?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, in this case it was like, you got me to that point. Now I am going to do it.
Yeah.
And
I know exactly what you're talking about, Ryan.
Yeah.
Like Misty's listening to this going, I know exactly what he's talking about. Because like especially when it's fresh off the press, when you've just cut something and then someone's scrutinizing it and they're talking about things that you feel are relevant to the drive of where it's currently going. They're adding things that you go, yeah, I understand that as a concept, but that's not what I'm trying to fix right now. There's things that you see as an editor that need doing and fixing that other people don't see.
Yeah.
And they'll come in as as someone that understands film language but can't necessarily speak the film language, and they know how to arrange, how things get arranged and how they come together.
Yeah, I mean,
and how they're assembled.
There are so many film savvy people out there and with good taste in film and good taste in story, but don't have the language.
That's true. I know a lot of people.
And I think they're the best people to get advice from if you're in if you're presenting a rough cut.
Yeah, when you're up to your rough cut, because they'll scrutinise it and go, this is a sore thumb. Yeah,
they're the kind of people you want.
Yeah, no, but just at the right point though, like when you're fresh off the cut.
Oh yeah, like,
you got to let it breathe a bit. It's kind of like a wine. You got to let it breathe in a carafe.
There's times where I'm like, well, I'm not going to share that cut with that person right now because none of the special effects are done.
Yeah.
And they will be so fucking confused.
Yeah. And and the revision side of things when you're dealing with clients, right? Revisions, like I find sometimes to be quite helpful, but sometimes I dread a revision because I know that it's going to be a lot of back and forth and argy-bargy. And you go, well, if you just let me breathe on it for another week, you wouldn't need all of this revision. You know what I mean? Like sometimes things can be revision heavy.
Oh, yeah.
You got to trust your practitioner.
Yeah.
You're going to, I just need to do a re-edit on this, or can you just ratchet this part up here? I generally try to give cues like that where I trust the editor. But being the editor or dealing with the client, it's very hard to gain trust as someone who isn't a practitioner.
Yeah.
It really is. It's the hardest part of the business.
Yeah,
I really find that the hardest part. But but Grace, back to Greystanes. So Greystanes has finished its cycle now.
It did its run, and it was the first time I was ever nominated by the Australian Directors Guild.
Oh wow, that's a feather in the cap.
Yes, for online content. Suddenly I'm in the same category as Mr. Nash Edgerton. Being nominated by the Australian Writers Guild as well was wonderful.
I think they're one of our supporters, are they not? They support Made in the West, yeah?
Yeah,
they're big shout out, Writers Guild.
Yeah, we love the Australian. Well, I love the Australian.
We love
Writers
the
Guild.
Australian Writers
Also,
Guild.
Nash Edgerton, west of Sydney.
Yeah, Blacktown boy.
Yeah, Blacktown, yeah.
And of course, screening the first 7 episodes at Made in the West.
Yeah.
And,
leaving everyone hungry to go to and check out the site. I think that's good way to do
and
it.
just being, we being honoured with the accolades that we did that night. And that was absolutely wonderful. And
Well, you've taken awards a few times at Made in the West.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 2 films.
I feel like you've got the record for the most numbers of best editor.
I think you got the
awards
best editor overall
across the board,
for the most times.
I think I've only won twice. Or, I mean, you've been nominated.
Oh,
nominated every time. You've
You're
been
nominated.
twice. I thought you'd run 3 times.
I think you won 3.
I've only won twice. You're probably mixing it up with 3 because we got the runner-up for the best... What is
Best in the West?
Best in the West.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
runner-up
yeah.
best picture.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You've taken it. You've taken
this year as well.
Yeah, you've taken a few awards out of it. Yeah, I think you're like one of the biggest award winners there. Yeah.
But we love the festival still, and because that's how you meet other people who are interested in your work, and you promote and you meet future collaborators, and it's just been. From there, one of 3 finalists at for web series at the Gold Coast Film Festival.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was a really cool experience, a cool trip, and we've screened in LA, in Canada, in Italy.
Wow.
And always the first 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Because, which I always think kind of ends kind of like Act 1. If you were watching, Grey Stains, the stage play, that would be where the intermission probably happens. Well,
with that strategy, did you see a spike in the content after it had showings? Or?
Oh, yeah. Because I'm going to get to the big one.
Okay. What's the big one?
The big one was... the first 7 episodes being shown on Maltese television in Malta.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
And about a couple of days beforehand, I sent the press release to the 3 biggest social channels in Malta, and it was picked up by the biggest.
Yeah, wow.
And
well, it's extremely high production, though. Like, that film, or that set of films, blows me away. Because I wonder, I think I may have asked you this before, but remind me, did you, because you shoot it as a 9:16, not a 16:9, so it's a vertical, do you turn the camera sideways for that, or do you shoot it conventionally and then crop it?
I shoot it conventionally and crop it because I've always got my post-production hat on. Yeah. And...
you can do post-production moves, I guess, in that environment.
Yeah, you can have pans.
Yeah.
And you can do a really good pan in post. I think it was interesting with Grey Stains. We could have so easily have done it vertically, and sometimes I think maybe it would have been easier if we did.
Yeah. We would have taken out some of the legwork out of the post-production because it's already set.
Yeah, a little bit of that, or there would be a bit more, a bit more faith in the frame, But I think also because at one point, next year it's come April, it will be its 2-year anniversary, and that's when my contract with TikTok ends. And I want to re-release Grey Stains on all our platforms, but not as vertical, but in 4:3.
Yeah, see, it's an interesting conversation. I'm seeing so much 4:3, right? Like
I love 4, and Golem was 4:3.
Yeah, and like we work in the TV industry and have worked with 4:3 environments. We're old enough to have worked in 4:3 environments in 16:9. Yep. And you'd go, come across to 16:9, join the future, and it's kind of like shifted back to these different shorter ratios.
Yeah, you've got people like Wes Anderson, Robert Eggers.
Yeah. They're
all doing it. And I always think it's the aspect ratio should always be dictated by the story. And, people sometimes like to do 4:3 if they want to go for nostalgia. And I always wanted to package Grey Stains as this is the pilot for a 90s supernatural show that never got off the ground.
Yeah.
You know,
just fix this mic for you.
yeah, sorry about that, folks.
That's all right.
And but when it came to doing an Angolan, it wasn't because it was set in 1939, because I wanted to create a sense of claustrophobia. And doing something 4x3.
Well, I think 4x3 is an interesting ratio because it sort of allows you to be multiple platform. You know, if you make something in 4x3, it's a safe ratio these days because you can easily apply it to a phone and a big screen.
True.
You know, so it's not necessarily vertical, but it's not necessarily wide. It's in that little TV space that we used to know on, you know, on tube TVs, like that we used to try to convince people to move away from. Yeah. And now you're like, actually, it's the most advantageous ratio that's out there, if you really ask me these days. And like, don't get me wrong, we turn our phones sideways for certain content, but it's not an often thing that you do.
It's funny. There are some wonderful non-conformists on Instagram now who are adopting that they're like, well, I don't want to do a whole reel. I don't want to do a reel. Yeah. I don't want to go do vertical. And they'll actually have the icon embedded into the image of, like, you know, turn it the other way around. Turn the phone the other way around.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, but I'm people are lazy. I don't like turning my phone around.
No, neither do I.
Yeah, I like to scroll in that tablet ratio. Yeah, absolutely. That's where you sort of go. Like, I don't know, but I am a sucker for 235 to 1, you know. Like, it is something about that ratio that is very pleasing to the eye. I suppose it's nostalgic as well because it's what I saw when I was a child watching films, when, you know, watching Back to the Future. But then you go to something, I remember like watching Ben-Hur. It was the first time I realised that you could have ratio shift, because that's like massive, like wide, super wide cinema scope.
Before Nolan, kids.
Yeah, like this is like, you know, but they even use words like Technicolor, right? Like it's Technicolor and CinemaScope. But that was, you know, this is pre-anamorphic ratios, you know, like pre-digital. You're like, man, that's fucking incredible.
You know, like
so much story in there.
The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad in Cinerama, you know?
yeah, for sure. But but you've got other stuff that's been on the trot recently, haven't you? Like, tell us a little about The Storyteller.
Oh, yeah. So,
hold on, did we get to the big one? What was the big one? Did we get to the big one? What was the big thing?
What was the big thing?
Yeah. Was it Malta?
Was it Malta?
Yeah,
that was Malta. Let's finish that one first.
Finish the stats.
Yeah. What's the stats of Malta? Yeah, before we go on to Storyteller.
So that was the big thing, because then it, like, there was a huge spike in the popularity of, and like it's wonderful with this, because it's like every time you think it's, you know, you're ready to close the book on it, another wonderful opportunity happens for it.
Yeah, it's great.
And that's why I was thinking, like, with the when we get to the 2-year anniversary and our releases the other platforms, you know, I want to have it in 4x3, have it a little bit differently. And, you know, I'm not as crazy as George Lucas, but I do believe in...
Oh, no, give it a bit of time, Ryan.
Yeah.
Give it a bit of money and eccentricity, we can get there.
But you know what? I think some, you know, some of his... I think he's, you know, I think he's justified in some of the things he's been criticised about. I'm a big defender of old George. But, what I was going to say is that, like, you know, his philosophy of, you know, art is never finished, it's just abandoned.
That's true, yeah, it's never finished.
And, you know, it's not like I'm going to, you know, have Ilhildila shoot first or anything like that in my new cut of grey stains or whatever.
We all know that Han shot first. Let's just face facts. We know that Han shot first.
That's probably the... If I had like a very small list of things that I'm angry with Georgie about, that's one of them, because that's completely rewriting a character.
Yeah, you know, he was a smuggler, man. He didn't fuck about.
He was fucking Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, he did not fuck about. He's Han Solo, man.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get the Millennium Falcon by being a nice guy.
No, God, no.
You have to have a bit of prick about you, and you shoot first.
And when you think about it in the structure, like in the flow of everything in that thing, I was just thinking about this the other day.
Yeah.
This happens. His confrontation with Greedo happens just after he's made the deal with Obi-Wan and with Luke, and you know, and now
he has an out.
Yeah, And what happens is you spent this whole time being on board with Luke, being on board with Obi-Wan, like really loving these characters. And then you see this guy who will shoot first. And you're thinking, holy shit, we've just trusted the safety of our two most innocent characters with this guy. We're like, what if he turns on them?
Well, that's Han's journey, right? Because it goes from being this ruthless smuggler to the guy that's, came back and, had his buddies back.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have, the selfish thing would have been to turn around, take your money and go pay your debts, but didn't do that.
Yeah.
He went back to go and help him out.
Yeah,
that's his transition. Like, by changing the dark side there, you've removed this part here. But so important choices to make in films.
So I believe really in, if you're going to, I am a firm believer, if you got fucked over by the studio, definitely release a director's cut.
Oh yeah.
Because some of so many films have been improved by their director's cuts.
Totally. The Abyss, Aliens.
Yes.
There's a whole Terminator 2.
Frickin' most recent example. Talk about turn the whole film upside down. The Justice League. Zack Snyder getting back his vision, and I didn't particularly care for any of the films that preceded that, but I really liked that one.
I really liked that one as well.
I really liked that one.
Someone told me to watch it. They go, man, it's not just a normal film. You have to watch it the uncut. It's totally different.
Yeah.
And it is. It really is. Yeah. You go, well, and it just shows you the control that, air quotation, the money has on content, right? So we're the practitioners making it. And that's what, we're talking about it before, trusting the artist about what the vision is. A lot of worry comes into it. They go, well, we may lose this market here, or it may come off the wrong way here. We may be politically compromised here. There's so many rules around this now. It's not, art isn't supposed to have these kind of rules. It's supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. Imagine if they changed the ending to Chinatown. That's crazy. It's a movie with a bad ending.
Oh, it's one of the best endings, though.
It is.
You feel like someone's just ripped your heart out of your ass, but at the same time, it's forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Yeah.
And it's that's a film that I think is perfect, and I wouldn't change a thing in Chinatown.
That's right, and there's trust in that film, right? And you see films
and we went full circle. John Huston's in Chinatown.
Yeah, okay, wow. 6 degrees of separation. Look, go and check out Greystains, guys. It's still online. You can still check it out online.
Yep. So still check it out at Greystains series on TikTok.
Watch it in the dark; it will scare you shitless.
And look out for a special edition 4x3 presentation with maybe I'm not talking about George Lucas revisions, but maybe a couple of little surprises for eagle-eyed fans.
Oh yeah, well look, it is extremely well put together. There's some scenes and I couldn't figure out how you did it. There's some scenes in there because I've talked to you about it before. You're like, I thought that was a rotoscope. No, that was practical effect. And I'm like, okay. And I go, I thought that was a practical effect. You go, no, that was animated. I'm like, well, I can't figure it.
It's knowing, like I said, knowing every trick in the trade.
Yeah.
Years of watching special features and, making ofs on TV,
Well, there's a bit of a double take with Greystains because when you're watching vertical content, you're expecting to see presenters reviewing something, true. Political, podcast, maybe some arts podcasts. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But you generally see this kind of content, right? But seeing this cinematic, work that's clearly a high production, well written, well directed, well shot, well edited, and that ratio is very unique.
But at the same time, when you're producing scripted content or drama for the vertical space, no matter how cinematic your look is and how cinematic your story is, you have to follow a different set of rules. So we know that when we like to, sometimes we like to start on an establishing shot of something to give the audience the context or show off the world or whatever.
Yeah, usually a wide that's coming in, either tracking.
That doesn't work on TikTok. TikTok is something that's driven on faces.
Well, I don't think it works in film anymore, and I'll give you the reason why. When you shoot it, like to watch a tracked shot from a drone or a helicopter leading into a building that's also panning, so it's tracking in and panning.
Yeah.
If you're watching that on less than 360 megabits per second of transmission, it will have frame lock. Most films that you watch in Australia through Netflix, Stan, or Disney, wherever, you're getting it at 90 frames. So when you watch things that require high frame rate integrity, they fall apart and it jitters, and you just get turned off by it. So that's why I'm sort of swinging back to Blu-ray, right? Because Blu-ray, you get a massive...
I'm all about physical media, baby.
Yeah, because then you don't get frame locks. It's in full resolution. It's not going to compress as you're watching it because your internet bandwidth changed while you're watching it.
And also it will give me the cut of the bloody movie I want to watch.
Yeah, and you're not going to have something that's compromised. So, I think there's a massive shift back to hard media because of these facts, unless they start upping bandwidth, but they're not going to do that because they're going to increase their audience base. And the more you increase your audience base, the shorter your bandwidth. It's not a hard equation to work out.
Yeah.
That's the size of your server, and it's the size of the node that you're receiving the content on. Maybe if we didn't have, not getting too political, copper to the house. Maybe if we had fiber to the house, maybe it'd be a different scenario. I'm not sure. Probably, actually, I am sure it would be. But with that said, I think. Even in traditional media and traditional ratioed films, you have to reconsider doing an establishing shot because your audience won't experience it the way you shot and edited it.
Oh yeah.
So there's it's an interesting space at the moment. But now you can circle back the storyteller.
Yeah.
What's the storyteller all about?
Oh, so the one of my big heroes and influences on me as an artist is Mr. Jim Henson.
Okay.
And, look...
What's Jim Henson famous for?
Well, look, he was the guy who gave us The Muppets and Sesame Street. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of IP to his name that's, timeless. But my favourite part of Jim was the experimental side of Jim. He was a true artist because he never liked to repeat himself, and he always, with every project, he always wanted to push puppeteering. He wanted to push the technology.
Yeah, not be a one-trick pony.
And so my favorite era of Jim Henson is the experimental Jim Henson, and it started with the Dark Crystal.
Yeah,
which is
iconic. Cult classic iconic. Which
is one of the greatest fantasy films ever made.
Yeah, it sits next right to the Labyrinth on a shelf.
Yep, and then of course he did Labyrinth.
Yeah.
And he then wanted to bring what he had done with the because after Dark Crystal, he built the Jim Henson Creature Shop, which is still in operation today.
Okay.
And that to facilitate the creation of things that weren't Muppets. And he created a series for television in the late 80s, and it was a fantasy anthology series called The Storyteller.
Okay.
And it starred John Hurt.
Okay.
Kane in Alien, and the Elephant Man, and he would tell obscure folk tales and fairy tales from Russia, from Germany, Celtic mythology, and once in a while they would throw in, say, a unfamiliar variation of a famous fairy tale. So they had a darker, dirtier version of Cinderella. They had a darker, dirtier version of Beauty and the Beast. And he would narrate these John Hurt would narrate these stories in full makeup, and they would...
He has a great voice, that guy.
Oh,
brilliant voice.
Perfect voice.
Yeah.
And they would also, the stories would then come alive with actors, but you would also, of course, as a Jim Henson production, there were the greatest puppets
Yeah.
ever. Creatures, griffins, giants, trolls, lions.
Yeah.
And they were all fantastic. And so when I meant that Jim was always experimenting and he was always thinking about the technology, at that time, he was very much inspired by, it was the rise of MTV and music videos.
Okay.
And he said that that's where the future of television is. It's with the people who are making music videos. So he got Steve Barron, who did Michael Jackson's Billie Jean.
Okay.
And a little unpopular music video called Take On Me by a-ha. And
Take on me.
like groundbreaking music video.
Yeah.
And he brought Steve Barron in, and Steve basically came up with the look, the editorial language, and the cinema language of the series, which then the other directors who worked on... He directed the most episodes, but other directors had to kind of follow that template.
Yeah, they had a template to go, yeah.
And this is one of my... I remember being 3 or 4, and my mum renting one of the tapes from the local video shop, and I was just spellbound by it as a kid.
Yeah.
And it's weird that, like, we get nostalgic for things that we grew up with, and we watch it, and we're like, oh, that didn't hold up really well. Oh, that's a bit naff.
Yeah.
Or, oh, that's really cringy.
Yeah.
The only 2 things from my childhood that I think have really, that were made for television specifically, that have really stood the test of time were The Storyteller and Batman the Animated Series.
Okay.
Which, that's the series
that was very good, yeah.
It was very good. And of
Back
course,
to Mark Hamill again, aren't we?
and that was Mark Hamill was the Mark
Joker,
Hamill's first foray as the Joker. But because these were shows that were all about treating the sorcerer, like not it was meant for family audiences, but not talking down to the children in the family audience, presenting them with dark scenarios, presenting them with, like Chinatown, unhappy endings. The Storyteller and the Batman animated series have their fair share of unhappy endings. Bittersweet endings.
Yeah. Life lesson sort of stuff.
Yeah. I don't think... There's only a couple of the episodes of The Storyteller where I actually could put on the tagline, and they lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
Because there are actually some there's some real sad ones and some really horrific ones.
It's like Black Mirror for kids.
Yeah, it was Black Mirror. Like, I kid you not, I had my first exposure to body horror at 3 or 4 through an episode of The Storyteller.
Yeah.
And I love this series so much, and it's inspired, and it's actually one of the big influences on me. It's why I love monsters. It's why I love folk tales and myths and all of this. And
water. Oh, you wanted water? I thought you were saying Mike. I thought yeah. Sorry, Ryan, keep going.
And it's a big thing for me, and it was the first time that The Storyteller was going to have a Blu-ray release.
Yeah.
And it was going to be done by Viavision, which are based in Melbourne. And Viavision, shout out to them and their label Imprint. They're keeping the physical media train alive, baby. Their releases of cult films, of classics, of horror films and fantasy films, sci-fi second to none.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna have to go check that out because I'm big on sci-fi, collecting sci-fi. Just the covers themselves is.
They've collected some real doozies, and have really given them the respect they deserve.
Okay.
And they're just based in Melbourne, and I did the first thing I've ever done, which is cold call a company.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's always harrowing.
I sent them an email and I said, look, I know that you're making this.
Yeah.
This series is going to do well on the disc because it's a cult show.
Yeah.
But it has fan base.
Yeah.
It will be sold. You will sell copies. Is there anything I can do? This series meant the world to me.
Yeah.
Is there anything to do, even if it is writing the liner notes that go in the disc? Just let me do something.
Yeah, something.
And then they just
let me participate. Yeah.
And they came back to me quite fast, and they said, "Well, we've got about 30 minutes of spare space on the disc. It was going to go out bare bones.
Yeah.
Would you do a video essay, a retrospective?" And I was like, wow. It's like, yes. Yeah. Fuck yes. It's like, oh, you don't have a lot of time. And I was like, you've got 2 weeks. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, my life has been leading to this moment.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have, you know, people say to me when I made this piece, was there anything that you didn't know going in? And I said, no. Like, I knew it all going in. Knew it all from the back of my hand. Like, I was meant for this. I was born for this.
Yeah, I'm your guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and the first thing hearing that was like, you know, making a retrospective piece. I was like, well, what happens with, like, you know, clearing the rights? And like, of course you've got the rights to using footage from the show because you're releasing the disc, but behind the scenes photos and
that comes under review. It's an easier
and like, you know, package, you know, I wanted to use Topaz AI to restore a bunch of behind the scenes clips that had popped up on the Jim Henson Hour, which has never had a DVD release. So you're finding, like, you know, better tape copies.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're ripping from VHS at this point.
And like, and I'd love to use that sort of stuff. And it's like, what are we like that? And they're like, oh no, we'll be fine. We're protected by fair use.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's under review. Yeah. So when you review content, it's by fair use.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like the news. So you could, if you're at a Batman release, you go, here I am watching. The Batman release, and you got the Batman stuff behind you. Like, you can show a few clips.
The trailer. Yeah. Like,
it's fair use.
And it's like, you know, I wasn't saying, you know, Jim Henson didn't lead a very scandalous life.
Yeah.
You know, or anything like that. There, you know, John Hurt didn't have any.
Oh, so he's not making like Stephen King at Studio 54 or anything like that.
No. John Hurt wasn't doing anything like, you know, like having dummy spits on set or things like that. It was like, you know, it was really just a piece about celebrating
the content,
art,
the art of it,
and the art that went into the creatures. And the art that went into the writing. It was written by Anthony Minghella, who, of course, became famous for doing The English Patient.
Oh, yeah, that's a big film.
And for
film.
Cold Mountain, The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah, Talented Mr. Ripley, that's another big one. Yeah.
Gone too soon from cancer.
Oh, bummer. I didn't know that, yeah.
You know, this was one of his first gigs for television.
Yeah.
And just, you know, it was a wonderful opportunity, and I recommend the series to anyone who loves fantasy and all of that, but also just bloody good writing. And you know, like it's like Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone writing has really held up. Rod Serling was onto something, and I think Anthony Minghella was onto something when he was writing.
Most of the eras of it as well. So the 90s era of it was good. If you go back to, you can even see Will Shatner in an old, you know.
Well, Will Shatner's the ones like, there is something on the wing
of the plane. Something. Yeah, and he was in a couple of them, actually.
Yeah, and he's also in the one...
the Fortune Teller.
Yes, the which I've got a Christmas tree ornament of that one.
The
devil thing where they're in the diner and that. Yeah, it's a classic episode. But like, I recommend that to everyone and anyone. And it also has the first screen appearance of Sean Bean.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Yes.
Yeah, this is pre Patriot Games sort of stuff.
This is one of the top. This is one of the first 10 credits of Sean Bean.
Yeah, wow.
And he's playing the love interest in one of the episodes.
Yeah.
And like, you know, so many other famous British people, like, you know, people who are famous now, who popped up in it, like Miranda Richardson, Jolie Richardson, Bob Peck, clever girl from Jurassic Park.
Oh, is that? Yeah.
And thinking Jonathan Pryce, who I absolutely adore. Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders at the start of their comedy duo career. They played the two bad sisters in their Cinderella episode, and perfect casting. Okay. But it's just a joy, to go to JB Hi-Fi.
And you're
on the shelf.
So you're on the Blu-ray extra.
And see your name, filmmaker Ryan Cauchi, on a Jim Henson product, and my favourite Jim Henson IP.
Wow, that's an amazing achievement. Congratulations. That's really cool. That's one of the coolest things I've heard of you.
And this set has sold out twice.
Yeah. Well, like you said, there's a cult following. You're onto that. That's amazing.
Yeah, Prue was saying I was saying to Prue, what I really want to do next is get a commission to go over to the Henson offices in New York and do a coffee table book. Yeah. And Prue just was like, "Bitch, you're aiming too low." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like going, get the reboot happening.
Yeah, direct
the movie.
Like,
well, the reboot is happening, but it's written by Neil Gaiman. Oh, he's cancelled now. Yeah, I guess I could.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's an interesting conversation, right? Because the more people I talk to on the Pagey train, the more I realise that a lot of this comes out of fandom, right? The biggest fans of film are filmmakers.
Oh, yeah.
Because we forget that. Sometimes we get so tied up. You remember the moment where you started studying film and then you learn about frame rates and you learn about codecs and you learn about blocking and how people are positioned in spaces, and you see the blemishes. You start to see the cracks in films that you never saw before.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this moment where films... I think there's a period for every editor and director and writer where they start to see the blemishes in the things that they loved. And there comes a time where you go, but that's part of the deal. The graffiti is part of the landscape, if you know what I mean. Like, you have to have the graffiti to get to the mural. Like, there's the flamboyant and the pretty and the beautiful, but sometimes there's little edges that are taped together, and you sort of have these moments where film wasn't as perfect as I thought it was, and then you start to realise that it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to flow, because most people don't see the imperfection; they see the perfection.
Yeah. I think the work of the Jim Henson Creature Shop is fucking flawless. And that's why they're still in operation today, and they're very clever because they've also extended to motion capture and everything like that, and so they've kept consistent, like Jim kept consistent with the times and the new technology. But you'll watch, say, Labyrinth, or you'll watch I was watching Dark Crystal the other day. You'll watch it with the audio commentary, and even the filmmaker will point out, you can see the string there, or
they point out the flaws,
or because
we see the flaws, right? We're looking for what's wrong.
And I was like,
they're looking for what's right.
Don't do that.
But they do. We do this, right? But I think there comes to a point where you realise you can separate yourself from it. You can. You become a fan. I think it's about 10 years into doing it, you become a fan again, because you go into becoming a practitioner. You're really hyper focused in learning and being a practitioner. I'm
noticing that now with myself.
Yeah, and you relax a little bit.
And I really do think it came with making this featurette for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, okay.
And it really, I'm like, go back to your roots, Ryan, the things that you enjoyed and you loved. And, and the beautiful thing is I've never let the child in me die. So, that's why I make the things that I make. I'm very proud of Golem, and I'm very proud of Grey Stains, and I'm very proud of my other flirtations with vertical storytelling and all of that. But, obviously Grey Stains, it's never ever going to be what you wanted it. Nothing ever is what you want to be. The best you can hope for is that you've created something that's objectively good.
Yeah, and you like it.
That's the only thing you can hope. That's the only thing you can hope of. There's always going to be stuff that's going to, say, I wish we had we got one more take, or I wish we had one more week to get that effect right, or things like that. And that's what I mean, that's the beauty about doing re-releases. If you can go back and in an unobtrusive way, fix things. I think what George Lucas ended up doing after a while did end up becoming very obtrusive. But then there are other people who just, you know, who were like, well, for this new release, we'll just clean out the matte lines.
Yeah.
And that's unobtrusive.
Yeah, but I even see in films that I really love, like you'll see some shots, you go, that shot is soft, it's out of focus. And you're like, but they still put it in because they know in their minds when someone's watching on a big screen, they're not going, oh, that shot's out of focus. They're watching the story and they're encapsulated, right? But when you look at it objectively, you go, oh, these are the blemishes. But I don't know. I'm now at this point where I enjoy the whole smorgasbord of all of that. I enjoy the entertainment of the story that I like. And then sometimes I look at things and go, that's incredibly put together. Like the way that they've done this is cutting edge. And that's one thing I do enjoy. Because everyone can speak film language. Everyone can understand film language, but they can't necessarily speak it. After a while of speaking it, you realise, wow, the way that I hear and see film language is very different from when I was 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old. Yeah. It's very different. It's a critical but accepting eye, an understanding eye. And I know when I look at certain shots that we do, like you'd know this when you're an editor, right? You see shots, you go, that's money. You could just see it, you go, that's money. That's going to make money. Yeah. You know it straight away. Other times you're like, the saying that we have is wrapping tinsel on a turd, you know. Or I like the way that Vince once said it. He goes, I can remove the shit, but I can never get rid of the smell.
That's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, because you can tidy things up and you make it nice and it works, right? But there's some things that you make and you go, man, this is going to make some fucking money. This is good, you know. And I love that feeling. I absolutely love that feeling. There's the same when I see content made in the West. You go, that is going to go somewhere. Like, you just know. As soon as you see it.
Some of my favourite shorts I've seen at Made in the West.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane. The stuff that we've got coming up.
I've just loved seeing, you know, the progression of people's careers, like Bina. Like, you know,
she's just taken off.
She's just taken off. Like, I can't, like, I still haven't seen From All Sides. I'm dying to see it.
Oh, you got to see that movie, dude.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to her. Like, not that I had any doubt. But, like, it seems to have been embraced by a lot of people.
I can literally tell you, she took the rule book, she read the rule book, and then she threw it out the window.
True maverick.
She has not followed any rules in this film. Like, she's followed conventions of how to do it. But she's broken every rule. It's so controversial, that film. It's so good.
Oh, I love a good controversial film.
It is. It hits you. Like, there's so many cylinders that it hits you. It's very good.
Speaking of controversial films, did you ever see Megalopolis?
No, I never saw Megalopolis.
Are you scared to see Megalopolis?
No, what is Megalopolis? I don't know.
Francis Ford Coppola's recent movie.
Oh, I have heard about this, actually. No, I haven't seen it yet, no.
No, you have to.
Okay, I'll check it out.
That's something where I really enjoy, you know, the controversy of it.
Yeah, okay.
I really, and now they've released a documentary on it. Kind of think the Heart of Darkness doco for Apocalypse Now, but I don't think anyone had heart attacks.
Yeah,
or maybe the financiers had heart attacks on the set of Megalopolis, but not the actors.
Oh no, but look, with Bina's film From All Sides, it's such an intriguing film, very entertaining, and man, it just hits so many subjects in a not a very direct way. In some ways it's right in your face, but some ways it's just like a lot of people would have you're either going to love that film or you're going to hate it, and that's what I like about it. There's no middle band with that film. It is, you either like it or you don't. It's very good.
I think that's
Well, even if you don't like it, it's still, it's still a good film.
Yeah. I think, look, we all want to make the film that
rattles the cage. Yeah.
No, is the film that, like, you know, is the winner of 11 Oscars and universally loved, and like no one could see a flaw in it.
Yeah.
And in the future, people will call it overrated. We all want to make that film, but I think, you know, we're luckier if we make the film that inspires conversation and divides. Like, I would rather have two people argue over a film, pros and cons, than two people both salivating about it or two people both shitting on it.
Yeah. Oh, look, I definitely would say if you go to see Bina's film, if you're in a group of 4 people, you'll definitely be talking about it in the pub afterwards. Definitely.
That's the film you want.
Yeah, it is a subject starter. It's a conversation starter, sorry.
Great.
Very good. It's very good. But look, guys, go check out the Storyteller on Blu-ray DVD while you're in JB Hi-Fi. Go and cycle through. Actually, I must say, when I go to JB Hi-Fi, or if I'm waiting for someone in a mall, I always go to JB Hi-Fi to the DVD section. Like, I can't even get all my DVDs out on shelves. I don't have enough wall space. Like, I think I have, like, maybe 2,500 of them. I'm not sure. I don't know. I've stopped counting. I've just got boxes of them.
I've got the that app, I Collect Movies, so I scan the barcodes.
Oh, really? There's an app? Of course there's an app. Oh, yeah, but that means I've got to scan 2,500 fucking movies. That's not going to be in a weekend of work.
And it's great because that app has saved me from rebuying a movie, because I'm like, wait,
so many duplicates.
Did I buy that?
I have so many duplicates. Before streaming services, I used to have a sign out book. People would come around and go, "Can I borrow that DVD?"
Oh, people still do have a sign out book.
Yeah, and I'm like, "You have to sign it out." They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like
a library.
People don't bring back my movies, man, and they're my children. I love my movies. Like Misty will tell you, like I can quote so many movies from start to end, and she'd get annoyed because I'd be watching a movie. And I'd walk out, get a glass of water, come back, and I'll quote it as I'm walking back in 1 minute before it's about to be said.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? And then like a minute later, I go,
they'll say the line.
Okay.
Because it would be such a random line on its own without context.
Yep.
And I'll just say what that line is. She goes, "What are you talking about?" Like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And then like 1 minute later, the line will be delivered. She'll be like, "Oh." I like to be crafty with it. But there's something that changed in me, though, because I've gone through right around, like I stopped quoting films a lot and stopped taking in the dialogue so much and started looking at the composition of them, the color textures, the sound design, looking at these other attributes. But now I've gone sort of full circle. I realised I've quoted movies for so long that when I go and act, it's not very difficult for me to remember the lines.
Yeah.
Because I can just start remembering the lines and I can do different deliveries. I was watching Christopher Walken the other day on a clip, and it was about such an amazing guy.
He is amazing.
Like, he's the same person in every film, but he's an amazing actor. Like, I watched him do 4 takes on a scene in Leonardo DiCaprio film about
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can. And he's talking about his wife, you know, how he met her while he was in the war, and he gave like these 4 deliveries that were totally different. Like, each one of them was different, but to the T, he did his homework, like clearly had done his homework. And I think that's what it really comes down to acting and directing. It's doing your homework. Yeah. You know the story intimately, know everything about it possible.
Well, I think every head of department and every actor needs to know the story intimately. Every producer. They're
show up on time, do your homework.
Yeah.
There's one thing I do like though, with technology these days is like most cameras now have like a Raven Eye or like something that you can broadcast the signal what you're capturing down to like a 720. Yeah. And you can proxy it on your phone.
That's amazing.
So you give the art department or the makeup artist, you go, download this app. Here's a QR code. You can now see how your actor's powder is going because you've got it in your hand. You don't need everyone to be leaning over a monitor to make sure that their work is correct.
That's actually really good.
And you give one to the sound guy so they can see what's going on. You can give one to the assistant director so they can see what's going on. Like, technology has made it so accessible, and I find that's for me super awesome. Like, I remember when I started out, it was so hard to get a monitor as a director.
Oh yeah.
You just give me a monitor. I just need a monitor. I go, we can't get the monitor in this situation. Like, I need to see what's happening. So you sort of had to imagine what's happening and then watch the rushes and go, did that work? Now you can just directly feed it onto any device. I just find that amazing. And when I do multicams, I send them each other's signal so they can see each other, what they're shooting. So they can make some competitive. Oh, I've got it. Hold on, I've got to go. I can make it. All right.
What did I just watch?
If it shuts down, then we got to take a break for 2 minutes. I should have let it go so we can take a break. But nonetheless, here we are. Oh, we're at 60 minutes already. Jeez, time flies. Time flies by. But yeah, what was I gabbering about? What was I on about before we had the technical issue?
You're in Blu-ray land, and
yeah, I think
reflecting on story. And
yeah, it's coming back. I think, and what I miss about the video store is the B-rated content. Like, because you hear the word A-lister,
Yes.
right? Well, before they were an A-lister, they were a B-lister.
Yeah.
So where's the B content gone? It's all
So
gone.
do you mean the B movies or the B grade origins of the people who became A-listers?
Yeah, both. Like, because you had TV movies, right? So a good example is Heat, right?
Oh yeah.
That was a TV movie. If you watch the TV movie, it's just as good as the Hollywood production of it. The Hollywood production has more pizzazz and it's got more stunts, but when you watch it, it's like they're the same movie. They're both very good. One's done on a $60,000, $100,000 budget. One's done on a $100 million budget.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something to be said for people moving away from subscription and going back to that hard copy because of the quality of it. You may go into streaming services to find the film that you want and then eventually buy it.
I think we rely on streaming services for the newer content.
Yeah, but again, it's like I miss going to the video store.
Yeah, I miss going to the video store too.
And you would have movies that didn't go to cinema. You'd have ones
Direct to DVD.
Direct to DVD, direct to VHS. And that space was like usually a horror space or a sci-fi space, right? And actors out of those spaces would end up in mainstream eventually.
True.
Then you would have... remember there was a time where it was hard to have TV actors to become movie actors and movie actors to become... It was Charlie Sheen that was one of the first that did it.
Now...
No one cares.
No one cares.
And no one's typecast. Like, before they were worried about typecast. Like, oh, you're a horror guy, so you're going to be in horror films forever now.
I think the typecasting thing still happens, but a lot less than what it used to.
Not to the degree it does now, you know. And but I think there's a future, because, like, we have so much content that, we sell to third parties on behalf of, practitioners, producers, and directors. And that form is turning now into featurettes. It's turning into features. Like, more and more content's getting made every year in Western Sydney, and it needs a platform to go to. Like, we're expanding as a festival. You know, we've got some shout outs coming soon. Can't do it on this episode, but we've got some information coming out to you folks. But we're rapidly expanding because the content is dictating that. And I guess what I'm saying is that if we can find video environments for video on demand to be hired as a rental after it's done its cinema release locally and globally, and done its festival circuit, done its national circuit for small release or large release, global release, small or large, and then house it in a video store environment.
There's a bunch of short films I've seen over the years I'd love to see again.
Yeah, well, airlines are doing it. There's plenty of places to have this content out there, and I find that that's sort of the B space that's waiting to happen so that we can make an A space. Because you can't just go from a go-kart to Formula One. You know, there's progressions between those graduations of class, and you need that as a practitioner. You're not just going to go out and be Martin Scorsese on your first directing job. It's just not going to work that way. You need to get experience.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of experience that you need to get. We're all still learning.
I'm still learning.
Yeah, I will always forever be a student of film. Forever I will be a student of film. It never ends in this way. So we need these spaces to express ourselves, and the only way to do that, I think, is to create these markets. And I think that people, if you look at westerns the way they were before to what superhero films are now, they're superimposed. We're on the verge of the next Taxi Driver. We're on the verge of the next Godfather. That's what's coming up in the next couple of years, and it's going to come out of the spaces that we're working in. Like, we're going to get... Like, Star Wars as well. Like, that was a film that had no trust. No one thought it was going to work at all.
They thought they could just easily pair it with another B-grade sci-fi movie and do a double bill.
Yeah, they were just used to doing these films a certain way. It's formulaic, right? You've got to do the formula. You've got to sell a toy. You've got to sell a T-shirt. You've got to sell an idea. You've got to sell... turn it into a franchise.
Well, it was the first film to become a franchise.
Yeah, and and this has been a slow death, right? Hollywood has neglected its broad audience. It really has. Like, you don't see films of risk, and that's what we have. We can do films of risk.
We live in an age now where nothing is a given. Where we've had franchise films. We've had Marvel movies and Star Wars films be box office bombs.
Yeah.
Things that the money men thought was impossible.
This is going to make money. This is a perfect bet.
Yeah. And, like, you know, who would have thunk that there would, like, I was thinking, who would have thunk there would be, you know, box office bomb next to the word Star Wars or next to the word Robert Downey Jr. or something like that. And what are the movies that are making bank? They're not remakes. They're not... they're original ideas again, and I'm seeing, you know, the original films are seeping through the cracks.
Yeah,
and,
totally. I'm seeing it happen. I'm seeing it happen in our community. I'm seeing it happen in different parts of the world, like Western Melbourne, Adelaide, Western Sydney. I'd say Western Sydney is probably the strongest. There's a lot of content coming out of here. But then you look south of the US, not so much the West Coast, but East Coast content. You're seeing this in parts of Europe as well, Eastern Bloc sort of stuff. Look at Korea, for instance. They're going to a classical cinematography layout of how they used to do it 40 years ago, and it's working. Like you don't get movies like Parasite by not doing these sort of things, you know, like these landmark.
Yeah, and Parasite was like a true original film.
It's truly original.
Yeah,
you know, and that's where we're going. And I just see it happening. We're definitely on the cusp of a film renaissance, which is so exciting. I'm just so excited about it. I can see it for the first time in a long time. I can see it happening. I used to dream about it 10 years ago, but now I can actually see it as a reality.
Yeah, it is weird. Like, some people are bemoaning, you know, streaming and AI as being the death of creativity and the death of cinema as we know it, and all of that. And you know, I'm a little bit more optimistic than that. I'm very optimistic.
I think if you look at the ebb and flow of studios that have failed and then been built up again, you know, you go from silent film to all the actors in silent film were not transcribable to
most of them weren't, roles. Because their speaking voice was horrible.
It was horrible, right? So they couldn't move into the industry, so they had to start new people. They had to train new people, and then they realised, we're doing we're marketing to England and America. We need to change the accent because the Poms aren't understanding the American and the Americans aren't understanding the Poms. So transatlantic accent is born.
Yes.
You know, an accent deliberately built for film. Like, there's no region attached to it. It's literally an accent developed to sell movies. Right, so we had to adapt into this space. If you look at the rise of radio and TV, you know, people used to watch. Do you know this? People used to watch newsreels in cinemas.
Yes,
but
you get a newsreel, a cartoon, and the feature,
and the film. But here's the feature, right? The feature would play in that cinema all day. You didn't buy a 9 o'clock ticket. You just bought a ticket to that film, and if you rocked in halfway to that film, tough.
Yeah.
You then watch the end of the film, watch the newsreel, and then watch the part that you missed. And then the studio said we have to have set ticket timing so we could see the start of the film and the end of the film. That's only happened in the 50s.
Well, we can thank Mr. Hitchcock for that.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and
there was a huge thing about Psycho that, you know,
you have to see it from the start.
Yeah, if you don't arrive on time, you will not be admitted to this screening.
You know, even timetabling for film was pushed back on because it wasn't cost effective. They had to create more tickets and print more tickets. They go, we're going to have to spend money to make this happen. Why can't we just play it all day? And the punters come in and watch the film like they always do. So the producers are always recalcitrant or always obtuse about the idea of advancement in film. Ultimately, they want to run the formula that makes them money, and they are certain about that, and that is it. Directors, they go, this is shit. We need to change it. Like, it worked 10 years ago, but it's not working today, and we need to fix it. And that's how you get The Godfather. That's how you get Taxi Driver. And that's and that's where I see that super imposed scenario that's happening between westerns and superhero films today. When TV came out, they thought cinema is over. It's done. It's over. People aren't going to go to the cinema anymore. Streaming services come out, they go, TV is over, cinema is over. More people, young people today, are going to the cinema than they did 10 years ago.
Yeah, but they're all on their phones during the movie.
It's very annoying. Get off your phones, kids. Jesus. Just take 5 minutes, buck. 10, go for 10.
Like, I remember seeing a film on the other side of the pandemic, and I think I saw 10 cardinal sins that you can commit with your phone. in one screening of this movie.
Yeah. They just don't have the social etiquette for a film.
Taking a call, scrolling.
Taking a fucking call?
Scrolling through their phone.
No, I'm already offended and upset. Taking a fucking call?
Doing a snapshots or Instagram story of a scene.
Hashtag Iron Man.
You know.
I'm already annoyed. This has annoyed me. This has annoyed the hell out of me. I wasn't even there. I'm not even there.
I was just like, and it was a packed. That's what I was saying. It was the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
Great film. Like, you know, full cinema.
Yeah.
You know, and all this stuff is happening left, right, and center, and I'm just like, you know, this angry old man just like going.
Yeah, it's happening. It's definitely happening. It's definitely happening. The angry old man thing with me.
This is why, you know, I want my physical media so I can watch it alone.
Yeah, watch it at home alone. But the cinema experience is still an experience. The home
depends on the movie.
Home theater is still a home theater experience. Binge is still a binge experience. A doom scroll is still a doom scroll.
Yeah.
People watch the football on TV. Like we listen to the radio in the car. But then podcasts come along and then disrupt radio. Like there's always a disruptor. But it always cycles back to what experiences people want.
I think that's incredibly fair.
Yeah. And I think, I really believe that we're at a turning point. I think the biggest disruptor that's going to come out is immersive content. That's the next disruptor, like the optics.
Yep.
Optics and cinemas that do 180 perspective. That will be the next. That
will be the big thing.
But that's still a cinema experience.
Well, you know, talking about cinema experiences, you've seen, it's made a lot of news, the screening of The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yes. I've seen The Matrix being done there, and they do an AI sort of perspective around it. Are they doing the same thing for The Wizard of Oz?
So what they did with The Wizard of Oz was they practically, because Wizard of Oz, it's an old film. It's 4:3 if you were to watch it on streaming or on DVD.
Yeah, it was a Technicolor.
But they've had to basically build everything around the 4:3 frame. And that even includes actors who exit frame and come back into frame.
Well, they do this with AI. This is AI. This is AI generated. They've done the same thing for The Matrix.
They did this with Google. And oh god, millions went into this.
Yeah,
it's very controversial because it also has that kind of like a 4D element, like you know the you know when the twister is there, there's wind and you know
and more directional speakers that really go beyond the 7.1. You know, they go really beyond that.
You know, some of it looks like, you know, some of what I've seen looks like screensaver shit, but like 90s screensaver shit.
It's funny you say that. We went to the Sphere in Las Vegas. Was it it's called the Sphere, right?
The Sphere.
We went there and we get out of it and someone asked me, "What did you think?" I go, "I moved my mouse, but it just wouldn't turn off."
It did kind of look like a
It was totally a screensaver.
It's like, after all, you're like, wow, this is a great video game, but I'm not allowed to play it.
The only thing missing was flying toasters, you know, like, it's the only thing that was missing. Or maybe like a pipe that never ends, you know, it's the only thing that was really missing. But it does have that sort of space in it, but I think that artists will start to explore that space and draw more out of that well. And I think that's going to be another disruptor. But again, though, it's still cinema. Yeah, and it still can be shown at home on an ocular.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. That's the weird thing is people are like, oh, this is like, you know, what they're doing at the Sphere. Oh, this is sacrilege. And how can you do this to one of the greatest films of all time? And it's like, the greatest film of all time, you can still watch it in its original pure form whenever you fucking want.
Yeah, you can buy a t-shirt with the Mona Lisa on it. It doesn't mean you can't go to the Louvre.
Exactly.
You know, like, yeah, I totally get that. And again, I've experienced some of this immersive content. It's fucking pretty good. It's really good, but I can see the potential in it. I can see where it's going, and it certainly is. I can see an intersection between. Like, I was talking about my favourite games when I was younger, interactive movies. Once you start making that interactive and you start having the intersection of gaming and cinema, because this has happened a lot of times with gaming and cinema.
It has.
You know, when it first started, you would have the play on, and then you'd have the gameplay, and then the gameplay started to merge into the play on. You know, the outtake. But I think this can also start happening in cinema. And when it becomes more immersive, especially when you have eye tracking where you're subconsciously making decisions about narrative, that becomes a very interesting space.
Yes.
You know, and it's, look, we still need to shoot it. We still need to act in it. Like, I find, like, people who are terrified of AI, I just really find AI a broad brush that you use to then tweak. You're like, you still have to tweak it. It still has to be edited.
Look, it's a tool. I don't think it's going to. I don't really think it's going to replace anyone.
No.
You know,
not writers for sure. Like, it won't do that.
Fuck no.
It's not going to do that. It's not a human. It's not. It's a predictive paragraph. That's the way I see it. Like, it can generate image. Like, there is one thing I did see where it is ripping off artists, and that's cartoonists.
Yes.
Because you can take the likeness of their style and copy and emulate their style.
Yes, like, you know, there's people that's like, you know, presenting a person in 5 different forms of popular media.
Yeah.
You know, this person as a Simpson character, a Looney Tune, a Studio Ghibli character.
Yeah. And these are all styles that are done by artists.
That's the only, I mean, that's the only thing that I can't get behind with AI is, you know, when the start of the canvas is the AI.
Yeah, where it's becoming a heist.
Where, like, you know, this shot I've generated is completely AI. I've punched in a couple of prompts. I maybe have gave it a visual reference, but you know, it's like me with what I think with special effects. It's like the best special effect is a hybrid between a practical element and digital augmentation. And I think that AI will work if it's
incorporated.
It has to incorporated.
It's a collaboration in that sense. Like, I got a great example for it. Death Race. Have you ever seen this movie?
Yes.
Death Race. All the stunts are real. All of those stunts with the cars are all real, but most of those cars were painted blue or green.
Yeah.
And then they had the paint jobs were superimposed, the gunfire was superimposed, so all of the fruit and the flamboyance of it was, but all of those stunts, when you see a truck tip over, that truck tipped over. You know, all of it was real, but then it was superimposed on top of it. I don't see the difference with that with AI or CGI. AI CGI is the same sort of issue. But you're right though. I think when it becomes the primary generator of content, then you go, well, that's not real now.
Well, it'll be imperceptible if it's in the hands of the right person. Because when I see, like, you know, it doesn't take me long to know, well, that's an AI generated video.
I can look, well, you know me. I've looked at content before that we've worked on. I go, there's AI generation, and you go, yeah, you're very onto that.
Yeah,
you know, but I see it as a corrective tool. There's one that I've seen that was really brilliant. It was an astronaut that had to pull out a cable. And
you were telling me this, yes.
Yeah, and they go, no, don't pull out the cable, push the button. And you can't tell the difference. Like, I could not tell the difference between those two shots, the repair shot and the original. And they showed this as a demo. I'm like, wow, that is incredible. But I go, but that's a great correction tool, because if you think about it, if you're doing a sci-fi where you're in zero gravity, where it's clearly on wires and very expensive to make, and you go, we got one thing wrong in the script and we have to go back and do it. It's going to cost us $40,000. Or
the dreaded pick-up shoots.
Yeah, we don't have to pick up shoot this. We can just correct it. Audio corrections with AI are fantastic.
Like, I mean, you know, like, you prepare stuff to do ADR. And, you know, you know, and sometimes...
It's putting me out of my ADR fees, though.
No, because...
I do ADR a bit.
Because, nothing's going to beat the you know, the opportunity to have a person there, but like, and actually deliver the lines for you again. But, like, if it's only, like, one measly line...
Yeah, or even a syllable.
Or it's like, okay, you had the ADR session... and then something dramatic has happened in the edit, and you're just like, oh, well, I'm not really going to... we need to do this, but I don't really want to bother that person for 2 extra lines, then...
Yeah, just use a correction tool.
Yeah.
We do this in Photoshop, you know, where you change the texture or colour. We do this when we do LUTs. You know, we add a LUT. This is artificial.
Yeah.
This is artificial in nature. It's just a correction tool. And, look at Star Wars. Look at how many layers are printed on film. None of that is real. They go, oh, but it was all practically done. Like, well, what do you mean by practical? What is practical, and where does practical end, and where does it begin? And so I find it to be the future. I don't think you can replace actors. I don't think you can replace writers. And I don't think you can replace editors. But what you can do is enhance an actor's performance, enhance an edit, enhance how something was shot. Especially doing like one I really saw that I really enjoyed was a post-production rack. So they did a Gaussian blur in the background and then racked it.
That stuff is cool.
That's super awesome.
If you can use AI to value add in a non-obtrusive way, or something that draws attention to itself, because the best work is always invisible.
Yeah, it truly
or you
is.
don't think about it.
Yeah.
Then it's it's like, but that's the thing. It's all about being in the hands of the right person.
Well, speaking of the right person, I'd like to go into a topic about directors for editing and editing for directors. So,
Yes.
So recently you've been working with Paul Rye.
Yeah, shout out to Paul Rye, who took out Best Director last year.
Yeah,
for
another glass winner. Yeah.
For Places Please, and who won the online.
Was it Best Student he won? Was it Best
People's
Student?
Choice Award.
People's Choice.
People's
That's
Choice
right,
in
yeah.
the online festival. Fabulous mate, fabulous collaborator.
Yeah. Go and check out his episode. I interviewed him a few weeks ago.
Yeah, wonderful episode. I cut his most recent short, third act. And at the same time, I'm also cutting Prince Bernadette's Subculture.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting, because I was an editor before I started flirting with directing. I always knew I wanted to do directing.
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah. But
I've had a similar journey with that.
the editing was just something that just came easy to me, and just seemed more like, employable at that time.
Yeah, it is a trade.
Yeah,
It is a trade, and it's a repeated job that everyone always needs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But working with both Paul and Prue, like I'm an editor who's a director editing for another director.
Yeah.
And it's been really interesting. Like, I'm not saying like it's been interesting as like, it's led to like fist fights or anything like that. But
two editors enter, one director leaves.
yeah, but you've at the end of the day, it's like, you've got to respect this person's vision. You've got to respect that it's their script, it's their film, it's all of this, it's all of that, and that this is what they want to, bring across. You've got to respect all those things. But you're not here to be just a yes man.
Yeah.
And
you got to collaborate. Collaborate isn't always being a yes man.
And you have to collaborate, and, it's interesting with being an editor before becoming a director, is that what discipline it taught me was, it taught me very early on not to be precious about anything. If something needs to go, fuck it off.
Kill it. It's gone.
I've always been like that.
It's a hard lesson to learn, actually. This is the biggest problem I have when I train editors, is like, or people making content. If something's shit, let it go.
It's like, and they go, like...
it took me all day to shit it. Don't care. Don't care.
Yeah.
It's shit.
Yeah,
let it go.
I was like, like... The shoot was only 5 days of your life. The final product is forever.
Totally. That's a good way to look at it. I like that.
And, it's all, like... Obviously they've come to you, the editor, because there's a lot of directors who edit their own films.
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
The Coen brothers. I mean,
don't recommend it a lot though.
I mean, I do, but I need to walk away from.
Oh, let's have a look at that in a second. But I'm dying for a leak. I'm gonna go for a leak. Can you stop the record, please?
Yep.
Yeah. Hold it, kids. We'll be right back.
Pause.
Sorry, man. I just can't hold it anymore. We're almost
there.
No,
that's.
Sorry. And we're back. So where were we up to? We were up to editors and directors, editors, working for Prue and Paul.
Yeah. It's. I think if we were talking about like no director should edit their own film.
Yeah, I'm big on this.
And unfortunately,
I've done it a lot of times though.
Unfortunately, that's been me my whole life.
Well, what choices do we have sometimes?
What choices do we have? It's like, it comes to a point where it's like, well, they're not going to, if you're working in the spaces of fantasy and horror and, speculative stuff, it's like, well, I wouldn't wish this, fuckery on anyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to burden anyone with this problem.
Yeah. And,
that feeling as well.
Let the budget get bigger and let me make a studio film, and then I'll get someone else to edit my work. Yeah. But,
and just hang over their shoulder every minute of every day.
No, you know what? I wouldn't, even though I'm an editor at heart, I wouldn't do that. I'd respect the person's space.
That's why you got to trust practitioner, yeah?
And it's that's the thing. Like, you'll have directors who will want to come in most days and they've already looked at the rushes in advance and they've made up a shot list, and that's good. I love it when people know what they want.
Yeah.
That just makes the day go faster, and you have more confidence in the product because the director has confidence in their vision. And then you've got other people that kind of, just leave you to your devices. And it's like, you know what? Just show me a cut that doesn't stink. And I'm like, all right. and you do it. But it's...
I like what you did, but can you do it totally different?
But it's the same thing. Even though when I'm cutting my own stuff, I'm treating it like I'm cutting for someone else. That's a good way to do it. And that's why... Separation is good, how to compartmentalize. Yeah. Even though I know, say, for example, I know like, for example, Grey Stains, I know the story, every inch of it. I'm still cutting with the storyboards and with the scripts and with the summaries, because I do the same with the directors. I like to have the scripts right there, because the scripts... are the scripts of they're the recipe. They're the genesis of the idea. And that's where the first you get the first, depending on the writer, the script and how they write their screen directions and all of that. Yeah. Some can be over full, or some can be anemic. Yeah, that's where you get the first inklings of what they thought this should be. Yeah. And the origins of it. Yeah. This person gives a look. Or there's a moment of sadness, and you think to yourself, am I hitting this as the editor? Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't land because of the shoot or something, but at least try to... Well, this is the risk as well as an artist. To respect doesn't always land. It doesn't always. And, working with someone like Paul, I would never say, at the end of the day, it's their vision. I will never, I will say, here are my suggestions. Most of my suggestions will come after we have a first cut. That's what I mean. You got to let it breathe a bit. You got to cut it for what it is. Yeah. Get it out. Find the truth in the material. Cut it for what it is. Yeah. And then you need to sit away from it for a couple of days, and then come back, and then you've got to kind of become the audience member. Yeah, that's what you got to and separate yourself from that. Yeah. And I'm always going to be an advocate for make it shorter. Make it tighter, but never at the expense of emotion, or or clarity, and because at the end of the day, I'm always thinking, unfortunately, I'm making a product. We're making a product. Yeah, it's a business. And where's the product going? Yeah. If the product's going to a film festival, which is where all these people are doing their shorts for. You say, well, look, we've got a short film here that's now 20 minutes long. Are we going to get in? We've got a Sundance fucker over here. And, this has got to, I don't envy film festival programmers. I don't envy them at all. It's a really hard thing to do. It's a very hard... It's a fucking hard game of Tetris. And it's the middle bandwidth is the hardest. The top films, easy. Yeah. It's the ones that are on the line, and there's heaps of them that are always on the line. But, so many good films are rejected from film festivals. Yeah, it's true. Really good ones. Now rejection, it's not always a sign of it's not necessarily a sign of the quality. No, it's not. I can certainly say that. We've rejected films over years that we go, man, if they entered the year before, they'd be in. It's just the year that they entered, the way it came about.
That's why expansion's important, like to get more content out for us, because we only have the little gala night.
Yeah.
Trying to get more screen time, more expansion, because these films, like, we don't have enough time in one day to show how good this content is.
And that's what it necessarily comes down to. And I'm thinking, like, with festival programmers is like going, this is a 20-minute film. It's got to be a fucking amazing 20-minute short film, because a festival program can say, well, I can fit 2 fucking amazing 10-minute films in this time.
Totally. Well, it goes beyond that as well. It not only does it have to be an amazing 20-minute film, it has to also be a film that's not going to piss off your sponsors. So there's other things that go into it. Like you can't put things that are going to annoy your venue. You can't put things in that are going to piss off your money supply. So there are organic censorship positions in there, but at the same time, like, we push really hard. We push very hard to get content out there. But the ones that are on the line is super hard to curate. Like, I can curate like 3 7-minute films pretty easily, but adding a 20-minute film, I'm now just kicked 3 films out.
Yeah,
that's essentially what it is. So it's a hard one. That's when you got to go. All right, we're making a featurette. We're doing a short episode. We're doing a 7-minute film. You got to really decide what you're doing. I suggest as well. I'm starting to come to the idea that compartmentalizing your film, make a 21-minute film, but have it in 3 7-minute parts.
Yeah.
And then submit the most exciting 7 minutes to the festival, and then direct people to your featurette.
Well, that's what we do with Grey States, just to get some extra
good lesson to learn.
Extra subscribers.
Yeah.
The first 7 episodes from the start. End of Act 1, have a teaser that entices people they can finish the film.
I have to go and watch this. That's what you do, right? But look, we're running out of time. But before we go, I just wanted to touch on the Arts Culture Fund.
Yes.
So the Arts Culture Fund. What's with the Arts Culture Fund there, Misty? What are we doing with the Arts Culture Fund?
Well, Ryan has seen it online, haven't you?
Yes. It's I think May in the West is one of the, I think that there would be no Western Sydney filmmaking community without it. And
that's nice of you to say.
That's nice of you to say. I think it's true. I think there are other people out there doing it, but we're definitely out there flying the flag. Yeah,
we started a wave, and we really enjoyed it.
You guys started a wave, and you bring a night of entertainment that brings us all together for laughs and tears. At the end of the day, though, the tickets are free.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And
absolutely,
and
that's what the ACF fund is all about, right?
Yeah.
So we've been calling for donations for the last couple of months, and it's open still for the next month as well. And we're calling on everyone from across Western Sydney, businesses, filmmakers, anybody who wants to contribute and be part of it, to throw their community support behind the festival.
Yeah, totally. Keep the lights on. Like, we're going through hard times. I don't mean the festival. I mean in
just
the world,
life in general. Yeah.
Life in general, things are getting more expensive, things are getting more difficult. Like, we've got longevity, don't get me wrong. Like, it just means that there's less stress on us. There's less burden that we have to carry. Because I tell you what, if the festival runs out of money, I'll just bankroll it. And I've done that before. We've done that before. Everyone at Made in the West, like Misty's chucked in, Jay's chucked in. Like, I remember we were like $1,500 short one year. We all just chucked in $500. Done. You're never going to see that $500 again. But sometimes
the memories of that $500 generated.
Yeah, and the industry returns on it as well. You get work out of that. You get other people get work out of that. So we act as an agency where we can get people work at. We'll go and check out Made in the West Creative, by the way, while you're there.
We're amazing work with the community.
Yeah, we're doing the Fox Doco at the moment, which is for the River Doco. We're doing.
I'm on that train too.
Yeah. PYT, sitcom.
Yeah.
Like, we literally don't have enough time and enough people to make all this content.
And that's what I mean. I wouldn't be working with you guys if I hadn't known about the festival.
Yeah, we've hired so many people from the festival.
Yeah.
Hired so many cinematographers, presenters. Big shout out to our presenters, by the way, that have been with us for a long time. Especially Shatu, actually, and Prue as well. Prue is also
quite a couple of times.
there.
Yeah.
Just a whole bunch of amazing people that come together. So if you want to support those amazing people, go to our website, go and check out Main and the West Creative, and you'll find the Arts Cultural Fund.
Absolutely, get your name in the credits.
Yeah, get your
Up
name in the credits
at the end of the night, and everybody will champion your business in return.
Well, I couldn't believe I didn't think of this years ago. We now have credits at the end of Made in the West, right? So because we show everyone who's participated, because there's so many people that work on it, right? And then I realised, I thought, I'm just going to put these credits on, and they're sort of like, it's exit music. That's the kind of way I was thinking about it. People sit down and watch it. I'm like, you're watching the credits. You guys are awesome. You're so supportive. And they're just sitting there watching the credits like, you guys are great. Like, it's not what I anticipated out of credits when I build them, you know. It's kind of, it's super, super exciting. So be a part of the credits. Come along to mainthewestcreative.com. But you can also find us there through mainthewest.com.au. We're fucking everywhere, man. We're Made in the West. We're everywhere. Look, I think we've reached the end of our podcast for tonight, Ryan. Yes. So thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me again.
Great stories.
Thank you. And thank you, Misty, for producing once again.
Oh, you're very welcome. Sitting here behind the switching desk. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We missed you, Misty.
Yeah. It's great to have you
back.
It's great to have you on the show. Look, I can't thank you enough, man. And when you've got some more releases coming out, let us know and we'll help you promote them. And where can we find you online?
You will find me at Ryan Cauchi Films on Instagram, Ryan Cauchi Filmmaker Editor on Facebook, and then of course I'm going to plug it again, Greystain series on TikTok.
Yeah, go and check out Greystains, kids. It's really good. And look, one of the best editors and directors in town. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
And guys, you've been watching the Pagey Train. That's right, the Pagey Train. You can go and check us out on Spotify. That's right, video on Spotify. Or you can go and check us out on YouTube. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe. But for you avid listeners out there, we're also out on iHeartRadio, Apple, iTunes, basically anywhere you can find podcasts. You've been watching the Pagey Train, and I'll see you next time. That was a good outro. I'm happy with that one. That was a good one.
That was really good.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Man, that was a good show.
That was very good. That was really good.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, just kill the roll there and we'll get going.